the flood that happened in Greek mythology, similar to the flood that happened in the Bible? Yeah. Yeah, they talk about a golden race, a silver race, and a bronze race in Greek mythology. Y'all don't read. Don't know nothing about cultural context. Don't know about the true Heracles. Let me put it. Y'all don't know. That's his Greek name. Y'all know that Roman name, Hercules. Yeah, he was actually a real person. A real person. Yes, he was a real person. But they added mythology about him. Became that, they made him half divine, saying Zeus was his daddy. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you look at Zeus. Zeus was a player from the Himalaya. In this case, Olympus. But he would sneak down every now and then down to the earth and go sleep with these women and get them pregnant. And then Hera get mad at him. And, that was his wife. She was the queen of heaven.
Mm-hmm. And in this, Pastor Sean, because you pointed out I think about 2 years ago, Paul is not only telling the women to be quiet, but he's also telling the men to be quiet at this particular time. And then if you also look at it, he tells the women, ask your husbands at home. Well, wait a minute. Every woman there wasn't married. Every woman there at the service wasn't married.
That's too much like common sense.
Common sense. Read.
You have to use something called logic. You mean y'all telling me y'all thought that every woman in the church was married at the time?
I guess
that don't even go for today. Now, well, you gonna tell somebody to ask their husband and they ain't got no husband. And still, let me tell you something. In the church, the women still outnumber the men 2-1. Mm-hmm. And if you think you're gonna get something done in the church without women, let me school you a little bit. Because of the women, the bills in the church get paid because of the women. And they don't want to teach your kids Sunday school. Because of the women, they the ones be in the nursery with the little babies while you sitting up in church, and they have to take care of their babies and still try to hear the service.
Right. Who taught Timothy?
His mama and grandmama.
All right, then. Y'all, listen, read. R-E-A-D, read.
Reading is fundamental.
Come on.
Not fundamental, fun to mental. Funtomeantal. Fun to mental. Mental, mental. I know I misspelled it the first time, but think about it. Reading is fundamental. That means your brain grows. The brain is a muscle. Use it.
All right.
Don't be walking around like half dead.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Don't be walking around looking like Derek Chauvin, who did and you just put his hands behind his back because he knew he was done.
Mm-hmm. To answer your question, Dan, you said how many Bible books were written by women? They were, of course, the Bible is written by men. We don't have no issue with that, but we're talking about teaching. See, and not to mention, sir, let me ask you this: have you studied the Desert Mothers? Have you read up on Phoebe? Have you read up on Junia, who is the first woman apostle? Sir, listen. Don't try it, okay? I'm going to tell you right now. If you have not read up on the women of the Bible, let it go. I would suggest that you do, okay? I would suggest that you definitely do. And also, the Bible highlights again Deborah, who was what? Who was a prophetess, right? And she's being written about, all right? Who was a judge over Israel for 40 years. So again, right? So no, you haven't, right? So again, I need you to do the research before y'all go out there and spew this type of stuff. You got to. You got to read not only just up on the men. And I think a lot of our focus has been geared on the men, right? Because a lot of the authors, all of the authors are men, right? A lot of the big boom stuff is taking place with the men, but I can't really say that because you got the big boom happen with the women, right? Hadula, have you read up on her? I'm sure you have it. Anna, have you read up on her? Joanna, have you read up on her? Lydia, have you read up on her? Thecla, have you read up on her? Phoebe, again, have you read up on her? Tryphena Tryphena and Trisopha, have you read up on her? Syntyche, have you read up on her? Listen, Paula, have you read up on her? Darling, who you think helped Jerome literally write the Latin Vulgate? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I'm not saying this to bash you or to embarrass you, but I'm telling you, you need to look at both sides of the ticket, and not to mention who was given the gospel first. It was Mary Magdalene, right? And even the Samaritan woman in John chapter 4. You got a lot of work to do, bro. A lot of work to do. A lot.
Yeah, she was the first woman evangelist.
Yeah.
She said, come see a man. She was not talking about any old kind of man. She said, come see Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
So she was evangelist because he told me all about myself, everything, and didn't hold nothing back. But you know.
Mm-hmm. Or some of the earliest martyrs were Christian women in Africa. Come on, RNO.
Y'all need to read Fox's Book of Martyrs.
Petra
Y'all really need to grab that book, Fox's Book of Martyrs.
Yep, I have.
Oh my
You got Fox's, Bro Brian, you got Fox's Book of Martyrs too? Bro Brian.
I got it. I got
a copy, and it don't cost you nothing to get it. You can download it for free.
Yes. Yes.
You can download it for free. It's a classic. Go download it. You might find out about some things. Oh, but y'all, well, see, I don't want to know anything after Revelation. That must make you foolish. How do we get the doctrine of the Trinity? Well, see, there was a little short black man by the name of Athanasius. Yeah, him. Yeah, that's how the doctrine of the Trinity come forth. Him. How do we get the wondrous works of knowing about the historical Jesus, as well as the historical events? You go to a person by the name of Josephus. You go to a person by the name of Eusebius. You go to a person by the name of Philo. You know,
let me show him this. Let me show him this, Pastor Sean. Okay, Dan. Okay, and we're gonna address this, and you're gonna have to sit on this. I didn't want to do this to you. All right, so am I in the right one? I think it's in Luke chapter 2, Joseph and Mary. Okay. Yeah. All right. Open it. Where is it at? Where is she at? Okay. Give me a second. Was it in here? Yeah. Okay. Right here. You said I thought we were talking about women preaching in the churches, and there was a prophetess, Anna, the daughter of Phanuel of the tribe of Asher. She was advanced in her years, having lived with her husband 7 years from when she was a virgin, and then as a widow until she was 84. She did not depart from the temple, worshiping with fasting and prayer day and night and day. And coming up at the very hour, she began to give thanks to God and to speak of him to all who was waiting of the redemption of Jerusalem. She's in the temple. Dan?
Yep. Hey, you know, Sister Sherry, there's one that we never talk about. But she was one of the first one to start preaching the gospel to the Samaritans, the Samaritan woman in John 4. She
Oh,
spread she spread out the whole town, and she went to Galilee in John 4. Because the apostles they wasn't going out to the Gentiles yet.
every
And
time
it's
we get on
all
this,
that
you know what, Brother Brother, I'm sorry to cut you off. Every time we get on this subject regarding women of the Bible, we got folk who have not done their research, have not done listen, it gets contentious. Listen, if you convicted in that way, right, fine. But I'm going to tell you, you're keeping yourself from a lot of information. Okay, because I was convicted in that way at one time before I got into apologetics, that women couldn't speak in the church. Okay. And darling, when this was pointed out to me, I had no answer. All right. So, and in fact, it was Surreal, who was one of my teachers, by the way, who taught me and Sister Raquel, groomed us in apologetics. And this is before I met Pastor Sean or Brother Brian. So again, when he brought this up to me, guess what? I had no answer. Okay. Why Anna is in the temple, prophesying and speaking in the temple. Okay. So, good luck. Was she a priest? She was a prophetess. Sir, do you know what a prophetess is? Pastor Sean or Brother Brian, maybe you need to explain what a prophetess is. Maybe, I'll show you. Oh, okay, right here. You listen, because y'all think, listen, I didn't want to gear off into the women thing, but okay, here we go. This is in the Greek.
Strong's G 4398. Prophetis.
Okay, prophetis. And the definition of a prophetess is a prophetess, a woman to whom future events or things hidden from others are at the time revealed either by inspiration or by dreams and visions. A female who declares and interprets the oracles of who? The oracles of God. So she knows more than the priest. She knows more than the priest. This sister is high, just like Isaiah was a prophet. All those things about, that you read in Isaiah 53 and all before what? Jesus hit the earth. Who has believed our report? He came out from a dry root, a dry ground. How did Isaiah get that information that you read in Isaiah? How did Daniel get the information he got? How did Hosea get the information he got? How did Jeremiah get the information he got? Directly from God. So it's no different than a prophetess. She's getting her information directly from God. Guess what? And it's more information, the future things to come, more than what that priest in the present got. Sir, listen, I need you to do what? I need you to do your research. This is the same thing I told Miss Misty. And she had no answer either. No answer. Right? And I can give you a line of women, right, that y'all probably have not paid attention to. You need to pay attention to both sides, male and female. Okay? That's game. So now, moving on. So now we're seeing a strong background of Ephesus, right? And we got this temple going on. Let me see if I can go back to it. We got this temple of Diana going on, Artemis, Queen of Heaven, whatever you want to call it, going on. And they're worshiping this thing. And they build this huge temple to this thing, Okay, her. If that's what they identified it as, a her, because this meteorite got lumps on it that's in the shape of breasts. And so guess what? They're worshiping this thing. And of course, Paul comes in with the gospel of Jesus Christ. And guess what? They don't reject it, but they want to synchronize it. And of course, Paul is like, no, we cannot synchronize this thing. That's wrong. The gospel of Jesus Christ stands alone. It is the power of God for salvation. It don't need no Diana. It don't need no work-based salvation. It don't need nothing else attached to it. The gospel of Jesus Christ stands alone. It is power of its own, right? Directly from God. So